Hello, Christine. I just wanted to say thank you for joining us today. This is Michael Breimer, and this is for my interview project for my health and sports science class. And today I have Christine on the phone. Hello, Christine.
Hello there.
Hi. Can you just tell us a little bit about yourself and your credentials in this field?
Sure. My name is Christine. I live in Wilmington, North Carolina. I'm a Pure Barre instructor, and I'm certified to teach Pure Barre classes. I also have my master's in social work and my associate license. It's at LCSWA here in North Carolina. And so I teach my Pure Barre classes, and I also work at a local nonprofit agency doing substance abuse counseling and prevention work also.
Wow. Thank you so much. So do you believe perception and self-confidence plays a role in exercise consistency?
So, yeah, I absolutely do. I mean, I think keyword also being consistency when you think about, your own self-perception being a motivator to kind of start exercise and initiate a workout program or any kind of wellness program. And then I also think once you do start to see those results that, have brought you in the first place and you start to, really get into your own workout routine and see the results especially, then, that makes you want to be more consistent.
Right.
It kind of motivates you to keep on coming back. So I definitely believe that has a part of it.
Right, absolutely. So when you're saying that, like, how does one go about setting a goal and staying motivated to want to stick with that goal?
So I think they definitely, and that's tough because I think I see a lot of clients, at Pure Barre, I guess specifically is what I would speak to, who set goals that are just way, not at all attainable, I guess is the word to use then. Like they want to lose like 50 pounds
Right.
or something. They don't really think about like the little steps that it takes to get there. So they're kind of more focused on the long-term outcome, which, it's great obviously to have a goal like that in mind for, an ultimate, what you want out of it. But I think people tend to focus more on just the long term, and then when it's the day-to-day life and they don't see that automatically, it kind of gets discouraging. And that's why I think like having the smaller goals like that is definitely more important when you think about like setting goals for exercise.
Right. Right.
So,
And that kind of...
does that answer the question?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. And that kind of relates over to my next question. Do you believe that positive reinforcement, social support, and feedback kind of has an influence on one's adherence to want to continue that journey of exercise?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think, so we have a very close-knit community at our studio here at the Pure Barre, and I've noticed, a lot of the women, when they come to class and stuff, they'll text their friends and be like, hey, are you coming to 5:30? And they really, for example, that's just last time, but they really hold each other accountable then, and I think a lot of them, too, will be like, I wasn't feeling like I really wanted to get up and go, but then I thought about, my friends are all going to be at this one class time, and so, it kind of helps them to motivate themselves in certain ways. So, yeah, I definitely think that community and having others that you're going to see there, that definitely helps to motivate. I mean, even myself, too, when I would make friends at the gym, and if I didn't go one day, everyone would be like, all on my case.
Right.
So, yeah, that's a huge part of it.
I can imagine so. What are some common strategies clients use to overcome barriers in exercise, such as like some big ones that can come in play are like time, cost. We already spoke some about the motivation, or like access to facilities.
Yeah, that's a huge one. And I think, like, specific to my studio, we do have, just a single class is $23, which is
Right.
Very high up there, in my opinion.
Right.
So I do see that as being obstacle for a lot of people who want to come in just to try one class out, and then we tell them the class prices, and they're like, that's ridiculous, no one would ever pay that.
Right.
But they do. But regardless, I think there are different programs, too, especially now. There's lots of home-based workout programs. If you think about all the different DVDs that people purchase, and
Absolutely.
I think that's huge because you get that group exercise kind of feeling from just having it on your TV. But then it's like you pay the price once to have the DVD, and then you have it forever. So I think there's lots of ways. Also, there's so many clips on YouTube too. I think there's definitely a lot of programs in this day and age to do at home. I think that's the best way to kind of go around some of those barriers.
I believe that. And now, as someone who works out, as much as you do as well, in your day to day, do you think that impacts your overall psychological well-being?
Absolutely. I 100% see a connection. I think it definitely, I mean, obviously, think about just the chemicals in the brain. You're releasing your endorphins, and you kind of get used to having that steady stream in the back of your mind. Because I noticed, especially when I had a knee injury earlier in the year, and I wasn't able to work out, and I was so much more anxious, so much more just on edge, and like emotional, and oh man, it makes such a difference. I've noticed if I don't have that outlet for my stress and whatever else is going on, then it definitely impacts my overall, like, total well-being. Not even like emotional, but like everything seems to go out of whack if I don't have my exercise.
Absolutely. And now in our class, we discussed the importance of creating SMART targets with your physical fitness goals. And these targets are defined as they should be specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. And I guess, do you find this technique helpful in your field of work? Now, you discussed earlier about how someone, may be unrealistic to come into a place and say, I'm going to lose 50 pounds in a week. Do you find that helpful with your clients to set these SMART goals or targets?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I definitely, and our setting is a little different, I guess, from typical training sessions because we have the one class there, and it's, you pretty much know what you're going to get from each workout in 55 minutes. I do think that, I guess the best way that I can relate that is kind of like in terms of clients taking the proper number of classes per week. So if they start out like, well, I'm going to come every single day, and that way I'm going to lose the weight faster, that kind of an attitude versus I'm going to do this to take care of my body in the long run to better myself. So I think like if they are able to set more realistic goals in terms of like, okay, well, I'm going to come to, maybe 4 classes this week and kind of feel it out. Because then obviously you have to listen to your body at that point because you can't actually work out 7 days a week sometimes.
Right. Just constantly.
That definitely comes into play there in my Pure Bar thing. I think also that it can relate a lot more to substance use, but that's not specifically, I guess, what we're focusing on. But yeah, I mean, I think definitely having like the smaller goals, like I mentioned before, that's a huge piece of it.
Okay. And do you find anything else besides physical activity that can help promote a healthier lifestyle?
Oh gosh, eating well for sure. That's a huge part of it, and I think most of the people when they come in, or I think kind of the overall attitude have been towards physical fitness is like, okay, losing weight, but there's this whole other aspect of the nutrition and overall wellness that comes into play with it. But it's getting a little more recognition. But I mean, I think for me personally, if I eat any kind of like abnormally unhealthy meal, I feel it immediately the next day. I'm like, oh, something feels weird. So I think like just keeping on and like eating, all the vegetables and fruits that I can get and like having enough protein in my diet definitely, that kind of helps the overall wellness for me personally. So.
Right. And what would you recommend to someone starting off in the fitness industry? What steps to take or anything to look out for in this field?
Geez, that's a good question actually. I think I would say like try out different aspects of it. Don't be so focused on like, oh well, specifically I want to be a trainer and like only see it from that aspect. I mean, I can only say that from my personal experience since I started out more of like the management side of it versus the actual like hands-on training part. Because you get to see a lot of the behind the scenes and see how the companies actually work. And to me it was interesting, but it's also important to know who you're ultimately working for. So that would be my only bit on that.
Right, and like you said, this is it's definitely a way of life too. It's not just a part-time gig.
Yeah.
Some people want to look at it. This is something you have to commit full-heartedly, and I appreciate all your time. And that actually about wraps us up with our interview today. Christine, I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much. Happy to help.
Yeah, you take care.